Welcome everybody, and we're back with another episode of Road to ECS. It's looking at the description. It's season 2, episode 7. I'm not sure if that's correct, but who's going to keep the count?
I think it's correct, actually.
It is. It is. Okay, perfect. I mean, it doesn't feel like we've done so many already.
I would trust him on that.
Okay, perfect. Well, yes. So we are actually that far in, and we get closer to May every time we do one of these episodes. So the count is here. We're getting really close. But before we get there, we're here online live. Well, we are live. By the time you watch it, we aren't. That aside, the time bending aspects of the aside, we are back with another episode and another guest, Carlotta Castelluccio from Italy. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here with you for a chat, and looking forward to European Cloud Summit as well. It's like it's becoming a tradition. It's for me the third year, so I'm waiting for it.
It's a tradition. Carlotta is going to be with us for the third year as a speaker, as a keynote speaker, participating in different panels. A few weeks ago, for what reason, I was sorting the photos we need for some of the marketing actions. And then I saw Carlotta on so many photos from the expo. So I realized how much stuff you did also there on the panels and around there, beside actually delivering sessions and everything else that you can be delivering. And I think also being part of the workshop and all the others that you were living there. I was like, she was everywhere.
Something that it's happening. It's that I think you're right. I'm everywhere in the website. So people start, pinging me as I was like part of the organization, asking me questions. Because I'm not part of the organization.
I mean, that is an interesting point, right? Because like, you kind of get the perks without the actual work.
Yeah.
This was not nice.
That's not the perk.
This was not nice.
I'm not being asked, being recognized. It's like the first fame, isn't it? What?
Yeah, I know. No, but I realized, I mean, I can at least see you at least in 2 panels last year. One that you guys were doing with the startups and around everything that Amit was there. And then there was another panel, I forgot now which one, where I saw you on the main stage downstairs of the panels, plus the sessions, plus everything. How was 25 for you? What was your impression from the event, and what are the memories or good things or bad things that you are taking away from the last year?
I think what I really enjoyed was the diversity of as you just mentioned, the diversity of format of the sessions. So there's like for all flavors, if you want to have a full day workshop, there's a hands-on lab, the full day hands-on lab for the pre-day. If you want to, if you're working in the hub and you want to just sit for a little bit and ask questions to experts and hear about basically a more kind of informal chat between experts, Q&A and this kind of stuff. You have those. If you want, kind of classical breakout sessions, you have those as well. And also in terms of topics, of course, there's a bunch of variety of topics, technologies. So I think that's very unique for a conference to have such a variety of formats and topics. So everyone is kind of I think everyone feel included, whatever is their kind of favorite way of learning. So yeah.
Well, the last sentence of yours was the biggest compliment you gave us. Everybody feels included. That's what we are really trying to achieve.
That's what we are all about.
Since day one, that's what ECS really is all about. That everybody does feel included. But you were now more talking about the sessions, topics, and formats. But I hope you also had fun there.
No.
No.
He kept her so much,
No.
so busy. She
No.
didn't have time to have fun.
No, I was thinking. Yeah, of course, I had fun, and yeah, probably I was thinking of what kind of format maybe I had most fun with, and I would say that I really like the panels in the hub. I feel they are very. I don't know. There's a direct dialogue with the community, so I really like them very much. But the workshop are fun as well, because you got a full day with a bunch of people putting their hands on the technologies, and sometimes you as a speaker of the workshop, you find some incredible ways of even if it's like a step-by-step guide, developers find their way to explore additional things, and so you learn a lot as well. And it's very interesting to see different perspectives and different usage of the technologies you work every day with, but you still learn things.
That is an interesting point, right? Because like you mentioned that like you get immersed in in a room for full of folks who kind of push boundaries and try to learn things that are applicable to their work and bring their requirements. I mean, I know it's been already almost a year, or we get really close to a year, so like maybe it's not really top of mind. But is there like one, call it the biggest eye opener or exciting thing or something that was like, huh, like that you learned from your audience?
So I don't know if there's a specific thing, but for sure, the thing that I discover every time when I go to community events is it's kind of, I mean, I'm a remote worker, right? I work remotely 100% of my time. So sometimes I feel I'm living in a bubble. Because I work for a big tech, I communicate. I don't have a customer-facing role, so I communicate with internal teams, dev rep, product groups, marketing. So yeah, I really feel sometimes that I live in a bubble. When I go to these kind of conferences, I kind of I'm in the real world, right? So I really understand the needs of people, the fears of people, the day perspective on the technologies. So it's really an immersion on realities. That's the main thing for me.
Definitely. And I mean, I recognize that too. And it's like at times you feel like you are like we are immersed a lot internally into our teams and the things that we build, and some of that is way ahead of the market, right? So we hear that internally. Then we are exposed to the folks on X, LinkedIn, and even with these folks, sometimes it's like some things are ahead of them, but sometimes it's like, yeah, like people adapt it. And then you kind of get the reality check when you get to event people who aren't on social, who have day job, work with a big enterprise org, and that's the biggest reality check. Like that's because that's exactly what people are doing actually, as opposed to the things that they say that they do. So there is nothing that substitute that ability to learn from them. So even though we are there to kind of share and teach, I would say that we go there selfishly to learn from these folks too, and maybe even we learn more than they do in the end.
Which is fine, but I just realized we are now. We were just now talking how you guys work, because you have also similar roles in Microsoft to a degree. But Carlotta, let's take a step back. What is actually your daily work? What was that what you work on? With whom do you work? You say it's not a public-facing role. I would say maybe not to customers, but I would say that your role is very much a public-facing role from a different perspective. But I, of course, know what you guys are working on, and I follow and read what you guys are publishing and what you guys are writing. But for those people who don't know you, can you give us a bit more insights? And how does a workday of Carlotta Castelluccio looks like today or tomorrow? Or
so first of all, the thing that I love about my role, which is by the way named Cloud Advocate, in developer relationship org is that I don't have a traditional daily job. Like each day is different from the other day. I was in Brazil last week. I'm working from home this week and doing completely different stuff. But the way I like to describe the cloud advocate role is like an intermediate role between the product group team and the developer community. Because the community needs to try to keep pace with what the product groups are releasing, and so they are doing a great job, releasing the latest and greatest technologies. But then cloud advocates are trying to make all this new stuff digestible and usable to developers. With GitHub samples for a specific scenario, or articles, event presents, tutorials, all this kind of stuff, all this kind of technical content. But on the other end, we also need the developer communities to tell us what they need in terms of content. So where's the gaps they see. And also what they need from the products, because again, also product groups, I think that sometimes live in a bubble, so they need information from the field, from the real world, from people who are using the technologies in the real projects in their companies, to kind of influence the roadmap, understand if they are going to the right direction, and if not, adjust the direction as soon as possible, because no one wants to ship features that are not needed or are not used. So that's the way I like to describe my job. So one day I can work on a tutorial, one day I can proctor a lab, the other day I can we are doing, for example, now we are working on this week on a very nice initiative which is called Agents League. It's basically a very big virtual hackathon where people can build their own agent and then submit their project. And we are doing some live streaming battles this week with live competitors building agent on a YouTube streaming. So we are going to do some Discord roundtable next week. Nice. So very, very dynamic. We experiment with different things, and if they work, we kind of continue, or we repurpose what we have done. If not, we change direction quickly.
You just said that Microsoft product groups sometimes live in the bubble. I would dare to say that Microsoft product groups most of the time live in the bubble. Did I just say that? I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. What? I actually did. All good.
What?
No,
you mentioned anything.
It's not the same. I mean, as well. Again, it's something that I think.
Just to reiterate what you said, as I said 2 weeks ago, I was going through materials from the last year and the stuff. And we had our booklet from the conference, which there were also articles inside, and one of those articles, I think it was from you and Corey. You wrote it together, and it was how do you develop agents in April 2025. That was written like 1 month before we went. 50% of that article, if not even 66%, is deprecated by now. So this is like,
it was deprecated by the week after you wrote it.
Nah, not really.
The small portion is definitely obsolete week after.
I mean, the agents are still here.
We have got the Foundry agent builder. We have got all the stuff after that.
Stop. So let's do a review. Okay. I don't know how much of the article you still have top of mind, but maybe let's draw another, or let's check where we are. How has building agent changed between then and now? And we only have 10 minutes. No.
Okay. But the sub-question to you, without giving an answer, the sub-question to you, how did it change in the lab or in production? because they're also two different things. Sorry, now I just made everything more complicated.
Yes.
No, I mean, two things. The first thing, I think the first big change is how much now we use AI to build AI. So we use agents to build agents. I mean, we had GitHub Copilot one year ago as well, but it's, you know, a complete different product from what we have now. It's not just, you know, completing your line of code or helping you write documentation. It's just doing your job. Like it's building the agent for you. Of course, you as developer, you need to review its job. You need to make sure that it's production ready and take care of all the enterprise readiness features, the security part of it, and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying that you're not needed anymore. I'm just saying that the big transformation for me is the AI-assisted development tools we have today that we didn't have 1 year ago. And yeah, of course, also the frameworks, the tool we have, you know, are evolved, the frameworks, tools, all this kind of stuff. We have this new open source Microsoft Agent framework that hopefully, you know, kind of helped, since we at the time, if I recall correctly, at the time we wrote the article, we used to have a semantic kernel and autogen as two separate things. So we also had two kind of developer communities working on one framework or the other. So I think that the merging the two, I hope that merging the two has, you know, kind of simplified the developer workflow in terms of agent building, and also avoided some confusions that arose from the fact of having these two distinct frameworks. And I could really, you know, list a lot of other things. The AI toolkit has evolved a lot as well. It's very integrated with Microsoft Foundry. It's you know, it kind of offers has moved from my point of view, has moved like you can go from UI to code very smoothly. You have integrated experience of evaluation, of multi-agent architecture, and again, I can really list lots of different things. But if I need to pick one, I think the main thing is AI-assisted tools. They are incredibly good and incredibly, they are performing much better than 1 year ago. That's
and I might even say, because for the sake of fun, I think 2 weeks ago, we as a company are mainly using Cloud Code, because for some reason we just landed with all of us. But I tried the new version of GitHub Copilot and the Codex, and one tool that we all kind of ignore, which is wrong because it's awesome. It's Mistral Vibe. It's also the CLI tool. It's just from Mistral. They are all at that point of that level of the maturity, that it really has. There's really almost no difference between them. I mean, maybe Cloud Code is a bit better than Mistral Vibe.
Caveat a little bit, because you mentioned there is no difference in them. When you say that, do you mean the UX, like kind of the ability, like, you know, the commands and the plugins and all that, or do you actually mean the output?
Both. I actually mean both.
Really?
I actually mean both. Did you try Mistral Vibe? Try it for 10 minutes for fun. You will see that it is not much worse, if all, than. And I'm not working for Mistral. I'm not giving them just a free.
But he's a big fanboy.
I am a fanboy, but I'm not for. I'm not than Cloud Code or GitHub Copilot. It's really. I mean, we are coming to that level where it really is good. But step back where I said lab or production. For the product actually that we are doing, our weapon of choice is still semantic kernel, because we have so much code on semantic kernel and so much things developed in semantic kernel that it would be just stupid for us to change it now without really too big need. And as long as Microsoft is still supporting it, and they do support it because we get new semantic kernel versions basically every second minute, at least that's how it feels. We are mainly on some previews or betas or alphas or whatever we are. There is no really need for us to change. It works. It's there. It's functional. It's good.
And I guess that is also an interesting conundrum in which we are, where some of these agents or frameworks ship up to a few times a day, right? So you act all the time. By the time you have the coffee and open up the laptop, it's like, oh yep, like there is another thing for you to ship or update, and maybe something will break. But at the end of the day, especially when you think about what is it that you actually need, like for a dev tool, that's a one thing. But for like a dependency you would put in production, do you need to change? Like, what's the value add for going through these steps
in lab or in production?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. I think I've seen a statistics of 2024 that said, I think it was from Gartner, that said that 70% of agents built, or AI apps in general, didn't go to production. I don't know the updated statistics, to be honest. But my guess is that if something changed from 2025, is that this percentage is at least slightly slowly increasing. But because I think that people, I think 1 year ago, for example, people were still probably working on the RAG pattern, for example. Everyone was focused on understanding how to being able to ground the model on their business data. I think most people are still working on the RAG pattern. I'm not saying it's done. You do it once and then it's done for. But I think the level of maturity of developers now is that at that point that okay, I know what the RAG pattern is. I was able to at least kind of you implement it. Maybe I'm refining it. Maybe I'm of course continuously improving it. But they are looking what's next. They are looking to things like tools, for example, keeping. Which is the real agency value, right? Because you kind of move from, okay, I have a model that answer on my data, to I have a model that has access to the real world because it has access to tools and can do things on behalf of the user, make actions, retrieve information from the web or whatever other sources I need. I don't know the updated statistics, but from my conversations with people at conferences, I see, that people are much more into AI today with respect to 1 year ago.
That's we had this conversation with Marco a few weeks ago, where it's like in last year, Marco still had to convince people in his keynote that AI is here to stay. Yeah. That is not just another wave, like IT wave coming and going. I don't think that he will have to do that this year. I think that we are way past that. However, now about the PR by the famous.
Yes.
However,
what is it that you actually want to say?
The board with the change sentence. Because I'm also often speaker at the events. I see when the smaller events are more focused. You are definitely right, Carlotta. With people are developers are more mature. I mean, we speak about stuff which are like plugins now. MCPs are becoming standard, and whatever we do, or even we are even past MCPs according to some of the things.
Of course, we are now on Ralph.
Yeah,
Bluetooth,
I still have my doubts about that. Let's just leave that aside. We will be, hopefully, if you repeat the last year, 3,000 in Cologne. What I'm going to promise you, that most of the people that will be coming to your talk will be just starting to experiment with track patterns. So where you are and where the closer community is always like 2 or 3 years in front of where the majority of developers, the majority of the industry is. Because we need to see those people are paid to do their work. And this can and will increasingly include AI. But from my experience, most of the developers right now experience AI in a way that they're using coding, CLI coding platforms.
Assistance, yes.
Assistance. So we are still thinking about, I mean, we need to understand that, for example, how fast for our own platform as the database for the RAG, for everything, the vector database, we still use Quadrant. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that SQL Server in the meantime can be used as a vector database. The reason we are not using it is very simple. We didn't have time to migrate. That's the reality of daily life.
But now the thing is,
resources means time, means
well, but you no longer need to look at your work through the lens of time. I didn't have time. Isn't it in a matter of how many agents you can spin?
No, that's unfortunately that's still a fairy tale. It's a nice fairy tale.
I'm gonna quote Lee on this. Like every developer overnight became a manager, right? Because you're managing your agents, but there's a limit on how many agents you can oversee. Like you still, like, even if you can spin agents, you need to check what they're doing, right? You cannot just blindly believe whatever they spin out is going to work and going to be 100% correct.
Well, I can tell you, it will not.
But you can, but it will not, exactly. So there is like a limit on how many agents you can simultaneously look at and check their results. So
then
there's still that time constraint.
And then how many developers do we have internally which are then able to spin the agents, to know our architecture, to know our database architecture, to know how our DDD platform works inside our project, to see if the agent has made something which we can use, or is it something where we are going to say, oh God. Because don't forget, I'm not now idealizing human developers versus agents or the other way around. Human developers were making the same kind of BS as well. And we had somebody to oversee that. It's not different with agents. It really is not.
It's exactly the same thing.
If anything else, it's just a matter of, it's a matter of scale, right? Because like the problem, I think that the problem is going to be, or to shift from the ability to churn out code. Originally, that was the issue, because like you only type that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Now that issue is out of the door. So then the next one is review. Who's going to review the work? That becomes the bottleneck. Exactly. Once we solve that, there will probably be another one.
But even the review. I mean, let's start with the plan. Who is going to plan the work?
AI.
Vibe coding does not work. Specs-driven development does work. Specs-driven development is a totally different beast. We will all agree. But somebody needs to invest time into that. We had a workshop within our company the last Friday, which lasted the whole day, about how do we do specs-driven development nowadays in Run Event. Half of a day of that workshop was writing the specs.
The question is, who wrote the specs? You wrote the specs, or AI wrote the specs?
Combination. It really was a combination. But it took us a half of a day to get with the specs that we could put to give to the agents.
It only proves that once again, we humans are the bottleneck in with our inability to convey what is it that we actually want. That has never changed. Like if you work in the past with a customer that was literally it, like understanding what is it that they exactly need. Like, yes, they wanted more blue, the other shade of red. But when it comes to, trying to understand what is it exactly that they need for the business, and sometimes you kind of realize that they're saying something, but it's not what they actually need, and trying to get them through that is yet another journey.
Well, in this case, I know exactly what I'm on, but it takes time to actually put that in writing.
And that really is
faster.
And speaking about the time or the difficulty of kind of keeping pace with all these kind of new tools and stuff, I think that opportunities like the European Cloud Summit of having 2 or 3 days completely dedicated to learning, to meeting people and sharing experiences and ideas are unique opportunities.
Thank you, Carlotta. You just made the step over to the last part of our today's. No, this
we didn't practice this at all. This is all natural.
She just did it natural. That's awesome. What are you going to talk about in May? What will be your topics? Where you will try to pick developers and IT people and say, hey, this is what we are working on now. This is what we are bringing to you now. This is next.
Any guess?
Do you even know what you will be talking about in May? Because it's May. It's three months away still.
2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I know the topic, but 100%. I will do the demo. I will not do the demo now because they will change. That's 100%. And the topic, a surprise, is agents.
Huh.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Imagine that.
So the focus this time will be, first of all, the idea is to at least my kind of ambition is to try to clarify the end-to-end life cycle of the agentic AIOps. So starting from identifying, first of all, as we were talking about in a minute, what are the needs? What are the requirements, the business requirements? What we need to do? Once this is clear, what models we need to address the issues, and what prompts. So iterating with different prompts, testing the models, and this is kind of the design phase. Then you move to the actual implementation, so building your agent. And in my session, I will focus on the AI toolkit in Visual Studio Code, which offers also a nice UI, which is called Agent Builder, where you can, prototype with models from GitHub, from Microsoft Foundry, from other providers as well. And then in this building phase, it's very important also to you do not just want to build your agent and keep it with the latest models or the MCP tools that you need or the data that you need. We also want to evaluate the whole system to make sure that it does what it is expected to do. And once you have done that, then you want to deploy your agent on the cloud to be to scale it and to be able to be used from other agents maybe, or other applications, all your users, and so on and so forth. So yeah, my goal will be really to kind of walk the attendees through this whole end-to-end life cycle of building an agent. And in terms of tech stack, I'm going to use AI Toolkit, Visual Studio Code, and Microsoft Agent Framework.
Wow. And I guess you will also be in the expo from time to time in a few panels or whatever is going on. And
yes,
whoever is joining us in May, talk to Carlotta. She's awesome and she knows things.
Thank you. Yeah, I will be there for that. really to again talk to people, share ideas, hear about people experiences in the real world. So 100%.
Just look from Microsoft's perspective. Let's just not even talk the other speakers.
Mhm.
We will have countless Microsoft speakers who are really, really good. Marco will be there. I mean, somebody who is directly involved in deciding where the future goes with the Microsoft AI. Marco Castelluccio is going to be there. Lee will be there. Our advocates like Valdek, like Carlotta, they will be there. There will be a lot of people from Microsoft from whom you will be able to learn and to ask them very well, but also so many awesome MVPs and Microsoft regional directors who are there, who will be answering the questions, being on the stage, being there for the people. And again, one of our most popular workshops, tutorials from the last year was definitely Damir Dobrić ones. Damir is a very charismatic speaker. I think we can all agree with that one. And he knows stuff. I mean, to me personally, when I have my AI questions, I go to three people. It's Damir, it's Lee, and it's Bill Ayers. It's like my three go-to people when I'm not sure about stuff. So we have ultimate legends there, and people who are very, very much ready to talk to you and to everybody and to actually answer the questions and show the way. And for example, I had chat with Bill Ayers last week. I was like, Bill, how fast? And I especially asked Bill because he's not in Microsoft, but he is very much into the space. How soon do we need to get off semantic kernel and to go to the to agent framework? And Bill was like, you are still fine. And I guess that kind of questions is that a lot of people will have. This is not only tech geeking out; those are also very much business relevant questions. Which technologies do we take? Which technologies do we use? Is what I'm using now still viable in 5 years?
Well, hold on. I think that is important. There is a nuance there. I think everybody who says what's going to be the relevant thing even in a year, that's based on nothing, to be honest.
Yes.
We don't know AI.
Now we are talking lab versus production. I know what you're talking. Business, however, will still ask you for a guarantee of viability for the next 5 years. And every business will. It's just the nature of business.
Yeah.
And this is why it's a good place to actually try to find answers to those questions.
I get it. And yet, look at how fast AI evolves still, right? So, like, at some point, I think, and that is almost like, existential debate where, like, on one hand, we have the experiences and the business, like the way we used to do things from the past, where like every 3 years there was a release and you would have a cycle, enterprise agreements. And basically, like, that was the cadence of the business and the updates, planning, budgets, and whatnot. Nowadays, we have the reality of agents. And again, like, these are, the coding agents. So let's take that as another extreme, changing twice a day.
Yeah, I know.
If you look at the last 1 year or two, we went from plugins to tools to this to that. Now we have MCP apps. There is web MCP. We have skills. Majority of these things weren't a thing even 2 years ago, a year ago.
We have adoption. We have user training. We have stuff. Business, because AI is fast-pacing. Business is not. The questions are real. The
Correct. And that is kind of interesting thing, right? Because like that might take us into the analysis paralysis, where the business is waiting for the things to stabilize, and they won't probably in the next years, because we are still finding out what can we do with this, like where are the limits, and we are
you know what you can do with it. You can come to ECS to discuss exactly those stuff.
Yes, we should have a panel.
This is actually, Mustafa, this is actually an awesome panel.
Yeah,
we decided on this to have a panel.
Valdek, you're moderating that panel.
You're moderating this.
Moderating that panel now.
He volunteered.
Just volunteered.
Carlotta, you heard him. He volunteered, right?
Yeah.
You just
I volunteered. Yes. For what?
People, thank you very much. Carlotta, thank you again for being with us. Join us in Cologne. Talk to all those people here. They are very approachable. Just an anecdote, I wanted to say bye to Marco the last year in Düsseldorf, just to shake his hands. I was waiting for, I think, 40 minutes for all the other people who were asking him questions. And he was patiently answering, and he really took his time for everyone. Those are the people who are coming to ECS, and this is your chance to meet with somebody who is shaping AI strategy in Microsoft, like Marco is, for example. So, welcome.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and looking forward to connect with all the attendees.
Thank you very much.